In the late 18th and early 19th century United States, there was considerable debate about how much power the federal government could exercise. Included in the Constitution, in Article 1, Section 8, in which the powers of Congress are established, it says that Congress shall have the power to pass all laws that are necessary and proper in carrying out the powers it was explicitly delegated, such as the power to coin money, regulate the economy, raise and support an army and navy, and to declare war. In the 1819 case of McCulloch versus Maryland, the Supreme Court helped clarify the debate over the powers granted the federal government by the Constitution. In 1816, the Second Bank of the United States opened several branches in multiple cities, including Baltimore, Maryland. But in 1818, the Maryland legislature taxed out-of-state banks, appearing to target the Second Bank. James W. McCulloch, head cashier of the Baltimore Bank, refused to pay, arguing that Maryland could not tax a federally chartered bank. State leaders sued, and the case ended up in the Supreme Court. In March 1819, the court ruled that states could not tax a federal bank. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Marshall cited the last paragraph in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution. He referred to the implied powers of the necessary and proper clause. That powers not specifically granted to Congress by the Constitution may still be rightly exercised by it in service to the enumerated powers, that is, those specifically listed in Article 1, Section 8. Since a national bank would help the government achieve its enumerated powers, such as collecting taxes, a state could not tax a national bank. Over time, the doctrine of implied powers resulted in the continued growth of federal power. Gibbons versus Ogden, heard by the Supreme Court 5 years later, also revolved around the issue of federal power. In 1798, New York State granted Robert Fulton and Robert Livingston a monopoly on steamboat operations in the state if they developed a steamboat that could travel at least 4 miles an hour upstream on the Hudson River. In 1807, Fulton and Livingston met that requirement, and the U.S. Senator Aaron Ogden then bought the rights from Fulton and Livingston. But at the same time, Thomas Gibbons, Ogden's former partner, already operated steamboats on the Hudson River using a federal government license granted under a 1798 Congressional Act. Ogden sued Gibbons, with the case arriving in the Supreme Court in 1824. The court unanimously ruled for Gibbons, determining that the federal government had the constitutional right to regulate interstate commerce, the traffic, trade, and transportation between states. Chief Justice John Marshall cited the third paragraph in Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, which gave Congress the power to regulate commerce among the states and defined commerce as encompassing a broad range of commercial activity, including navigation. Thus, the 1824 ruling continued the expansion of federal power.